Ty, you touched on it Tuesday, but what does home court specifically mean for you in this group?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just it's special for us knowing what we've been through to get here and how this started, and I think we're a game away from having a 50-win season, and that's not, I think that could be something because time is moving so fast that you just let happen and you move forward. But I think it's a special year, especially the way we started, 10 and 15, 10 and 16, whatever the case may be. Just really proud of our group and, how we've been able to change the direction of our season. And, it's a big deal for us. So we don't take that lightly, understanding we've never been in the situation to have home court going into the playoffs, and that's a whole different type of responsibility that we have to be prepared for. But definitely special for us no matter how you get it. You'll take it.
You guys didn't lose at home till the conference finals of the playoffs last year. What made it easier to win here?
I wouldn't say easier. It's just, I think when you're an NBA player, everybody enjoys sleeping in their own bed. Your home routine is probably easier to keep than when you travel, as far as what you're eating, when you're eating, travel to the game, traffic patterns, all those things. Like I feel like as human beings, we're creatures of habit, and like you want it to be consistent. So I feel like everybody just feels more comfortable when you're playing at home. Our moms and dads and sisters and brothers and families are at the game, so that, I think that plays into it as well. But everybody just enjoys playing at home, and I don't think that's necessarily an anomaly, in the league. But our fan base here is special. People in Indiana really care about basketball. And, when I got here, we weren't very good, and the fans were still coming, showing love. So, now that we are a good team, you can see how special it is. So we definitely enjoy playing here, and look forward to, having first round starting here.
Given what was at stake, what were you feeling during those consecutive threes late in the fourth quarter?
Just win the game, man. Just I've kind of created a reputation of down the stretch making big shots, and I knew I would see some good looks there late in the game, and I feel like I saw a ton of good ones really all night. So I felt confident, stepped in, and made a couple, missed a couple down the stretch that really felt good. So it's all part of it, but coach and the guys trust me to take those shots, and I'm just trying to step in and step up.
You talked about just thinking about this in the context of what you've been through. I mean, what are the moments you're thinking back to tonight? I mean, how much of them for this year? How much of them from a couple of years ago? I mean, like what memories does this kind of milestone bring back for you in this moment?
I don't want to get too far and too sappy, but I think early in the year, like it was just really a struggle. Like I'd be lying to you if I told you that it was easy for me personally and all the things I was dealing with. So, for us to get here, and honestly, I love the guys in our locker room and the coaching staff, and how much that those guys mean to me, and all my loved ones, because it was a tough time early in the year for me, and just going through a lot, and those guys are really there for me. So that's what I think about mainly. But on the funny side of things, like looking back, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, when I got traded here, and we were out there. I really didn't even know what any of our plays were. It was just me and Buddy passing the ball back and forth to each other and just figuring out, just taking advantage of, having freedom on the court. So it's definitely special to be, where we are today, and I'm very thankful for that.
You talked about it not necessarily being pretty the last couple. I mean, what do you look at and say, okay, this needs to be cleaned up at this point? Like when you see some of these games and the fact that you guys have been in a position to have to win it close, what concerns you, and what do you look at and say, okay, well, that's still a sign of getting through it, and that's good?
I think mainly just starting and finishing quarters the right way. I think that's the most important thing in the playoffs that I learned last year, is how important it is to start off quarters the right way, first, second, third, and fourth, and end quarters the right way. I think we had a better start today, than we have the last couple games, but still, I still think there's room to be better. That third quarter, when we kind of got a little bit of a run going, we turned it over, late, for them to take the lead there. That's just unacceptable for us as a group. So that's the most important thing for us, is controlling what we can, and we can be a lot better in how we start and finish quarters. And that's really the most important thing. We haven't shot it well, the last couple games. I mean, 34% is, whatever, but from an expectancy side, I feel like we got a lot of really open, clean looks. They just didn't fall for whatever reason. But I'm not concerned about that. The most important thing when you get to April is just to win. It doesn't matter how you get it. It doesn't matter who you play against, because when you get to the playoffs, y'all aren't talking about who was on the court. We're just talking about, did we win? Did we secure enough wins? And that's what's most important to us. So obviously they're missing a lot of guys, and obviously that's a big deal for them. But they're a really, really deep team, really good team. That's why they're the best team in our conference. So they're still NBA players, got a lot of different guys. They're really deep. So it's just about figuring out ways to win. I thought we did a great job of doing that, and literally doesn't matter how we've gotten them. We just want to win, and that's the most important thing come playoffs, because y'all don't care, and we don't care about what stats look like, who made what, just win games.
This is your third game this season with 3 blocks in a game. Defensively,
Yeah, I appreciate that, Alex. Thank you for recognizing that, man.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that, honestly. Yeah.
I mean, Coach brought it up Tuesday before the game, how you have been talking about that.
Yeah, so it goes
Yeah.
Miles Turner, Rick Smits, Jermaine O'Neal, Roy Hibbert, Tyrese Haliburton. That's how it's going to end when I'm done here. I'm sorry that if there's anybody from before that time that I'm not, maybe George McGinnis or something like that. But in my mindset, I'm the 5th best shot blocker in franchise history. You can't tell me different.
Yeah. Well, and then on top of that, Smothered Chicken, we finally got one on Tuesday night.
Yeah.
What did you think of Quinn's Smothered Chicken, Colin? Are you hoping we get a playoff one?
Yeah. I know people don't. I had no idea what that was until somebody brought it up last year, and I've learned that it's kind of like the Indiana Pacers version of Mike Breen's Bang. Like it's a special occasion that you want to take advantage of. So Miles has been, excuse my language, beating shit at the rim. So I feel like we could very much so see that happen in the playoffs. QB is and Chris are amazing over there. So hopefully you see it over there. Hopefully I get one. That's the goal. I want one of those. Yeah.
Ty back here. Speaking of Miles, just how cool is this for him to experience a home court advantage in the first round? Something he hasn't experienced here yet.
He's never experienced that. Wow. I didn't know that. But I think for a guy like Miles, who's so impactful to this organization, it means so much to this organization. I feel like by the end of his time here, he'll have accomplished everything in a Pacers uniform. So I'm really thankful that to be playing alongside him and be accomplishing these things alongside him, because I hope that when we're both done, both our names are synonymous with this organization. So it's really cool to see for him, and he's been a part of a lot of special things in this organization, and I hope he continues to be a part of a lot more special things moving forward.
All good. Thank you.
I was going to ask about my turnovers, and turnovers were sus. 2 turnovers. Okay, my bad. No, think about it, y'all. What 2 turnovers did I have?